How's everybody doing? My name is Anthony Brian Logan, and today we got to talk about the more than 100 police agencies that have backed off of the Democratic National Convention out there in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. The convention is going to be held August 17th through the 20th, and it's only going to be about 300 people in attendance. Normally, it's much more than that. Obviously, it's a big convention. All the delegates come. You know, you got a lot of people in office that come through. Joe Biden, obviously, will be there because he wants to be there in person to accept a nomination. I don't think it's going to be anybody else. It probably can't be anybody else that could get the nomination aside from Joe Biden. You know, all throughout this process, we've said presumptive nominee, but it's pretty much safe to say he will be the nominee and he'll go to Milwaukee to accept the nomination. But aside from Joe Biden, a few delegates and a few other people, it's going to be a scaled down event. People that are going to attend and give speeches will do so online, and it might get shown on the Megatron or whatever they got going on in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. But you still got to have some security because obviously you got the vice president. He has Secret Service protection, if I'm not mistaken, from being the vice president and also from being the nominee. But you are going to have a lot of other people that are going to be there and a lot more so-called protesters, really rioters, insurrectionists, general anarchists that will be at the DNC to just cause general trouble. Now, the reason why the more than 100 police agencies backed off of Milwaukee and are not going to send any personnel to bolster the security forces is because of this whole defund the police movement. Okay, these Democrats are kind of weird. They don't really think too deeply. They don't think a little bit just beyond their face. They're just really right here. They're really short-sighted and narrow-minded. The issue with this whole defund the police thing is that it's going to affect them on the left. Okay. They think it's a good thing to not have pepper spray be deployed on so-called protesters. And, you know, we're going to just cut the police funding. We're going to give it to social workers and whatnot. But you don't understand when you have to actually go outside of D.C., outside of the Ivory Tower, outside of your gated, walled, security camera, private security guarded house. You got to be out here with us, the regular people. And it's not safe in a lot of these cities. What they did in Milwaukee, Wisconsin is pass this law or ordinance or whatever it is that says the police are not able to use pepper spray on so-called protesters, right? So you have a lot less than lethal means to control a crowd, if that makes any sense, all right? If the police are there set up for a so-called protest, the protest happens, it goes out of control, it becomes a riot, which is very predictable at a Democratic convention or any kind of political thing where you have the left in presence. When it goes out of control, they want to be able to assess what's going on and deploy necessary measures to keep everything up under control or to regain control. All right, pepper spray is one of them. You don't have to go out there and shoot live rounds or really hurt anybody. Pepper spray, it kind of, makes people cough and they can't really breathe and it stings. They back off. It's uncomfortable, but they're not hurt. They're able to get some milk, pour it on their face, and they'll be good to go in a few moments, an hour or however long it lasts, okay? I've never been sprayed or gassed myself, so I don't really know, but I know that you're not going to die from getting some pepper in your nose. You understand what I'm saying? But since they can't do that, it's like, all right, well, what are we going to be able to do to not only control the crowd, but also to protect ourselves? So guess what? We're not going to be able to make it. And if you don't have anybody that comes to Milwaukee to assist the DNC, then why even have the event? You know it's going to get out of control and it's going to be dangerous. If I'm one of the remaining police agencies that are still on contract and are still going to show up, I don't want to go because if everybody else is leaving, I'm not going to have any kind of backup. I won't have strength in numbers. I'll be out there pretty much by myself. I'll be overwhelmed and outnumbered by the rioters. It might be 5,000 of them and 100 of us. What's the purpose of me being there at all? I'm putting my life on the line. I don't make that much money in a year. What am I even doing out here? All right. I would advise for Milwaukee police to boycott this event as well. Don't even show up. Just let whatever happens. And I think that if you don't have anybody that shows up, you got to cancel the event because if there's no security presence if there's nobody to protect not only the regular normies that are in there just, doing their thing, but also people that are actually in Congress, House, Senate, the president himself. Like I said, he has Secret Service protection, but when you got 10,000 people out there throwing rocks and bottles, what are you really going to do to, how can you really protect the president in that kind of situation? Is way too dangerous. It doesn't make any sense. You got to have all these agencies out there to bolster protection for people. So this should be kind of a lesson to the Democratic Party, although I think that they probably won't take heed to it. When you want to engage in this whole defund the police narrative, you're going to make your own citizens, your own constituents, and yourself much less safe. It should be kind of common sense. Less security, you're going to be less secure. It should be easy to add 1 + 1. It should equal 2 all the time. But that's not really what's going on nowadays. So as I close, I want to say this. Shout out to all the police agencies that are using their brain and understand that they're not going to be able to do their job effectively in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, okay? This whole George Floyd, hands up, don't shoot, Black Lives Matter, Antifa, whatever, is ruining security. It's ruining policing, and agencies that have a brain in their head don't want to be a part of it. Now, they'll come back to the convention. Everything will be all good if you just allow them to use proper tools to be able to manage crowds. Pepper spray, why would you ban that? You're not banning guns. Like, it's kind of backwards. You shouldn't ban guns, obviously, from the police force. That's ridiculous. But you're banning the less than lethal means. If it's about police brutality and police too heavy-handed, they're killing people, okay, well, why don't you allow them to use cayenne pepper? What's the big deal? I mean, that's just a spice. You get too much of it in your nose, you coughing and whatnot. That should be the standard to control crowds. Water hoses, hey, bring the water hoses back, bring the cayenne pepper back, bring these less than lethal means or straight up non-lethal means back to control crowds. All right. We don't want a Tiananmen Square. We don't want that. I think I'll leave that right there for now. And what say you? Do you think that what I'm saying is correct? Is it kind of common sense? Give the police the proper tools to be able to control the crowd. If that's your viewpoint, let me know why in the comments below. Or is what I'm saying incorrect here? All right. Officers still got guns, batons, tasers, but cayenne pepper, water hoses, that's just a bridge too far. I don't really understand how that makes any sense. All right. You want the police to be less, quote unquote, lethal, but you're not allowing them to use less than lethal means to control crowds, to seduce suspects, and to just ensure general safety of all those that are involved. Okay. The officer is safe. The person that's getting sprayed or hosed or whatever is safe. The people around are safe. Everybody's all good. Okay. The person that got sprayed, they might cough for a little bit, couple little sneezes, little runny nose. Okay. Put some milk on top of their forehead that'll get into the nasal cavity. They'd be good money in a very short period of time. Right. That should be allowed. I don't understand why it's not. This whole defund the police and divert funding from the police and all this and that is just a ridiculous movement that is devoid of any kind of common sense. But whatever your thoughts are, please let me know in the comments below. And that's all I got to say for this video. If you like what you heard, please comment, rate, share, and subscribe. Peace.